Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we continue to look at this manhunt, which I'm grateful that finally mainstream media is also on the case now. It sure took them long enough. You know, at some point it was only myself and Nick the Hat on Twitter, and now I see lots of YouTubers are covering it, mainstream media is on it. Thank goodness, the more the better. The more eyes, the better. The more people know about it. There were people in the chat here earlier that literally said that they are from Delaware or Philadelphia, and they had no idea that this was happening until someone sent them one of my streams. So, you see, one would feel like, okay, the whole world knows, right? The whole world knows. You just don't know who doesn't know. And the more that sees it, the better. The flyer needs to, you keep sharing the flyer, the tip lines, the information, so that if anyone spots that guy, imagine if he's like hitchhiking, okay? And someone spots him like, shame, this poor little man. Let me just pick him up real quick. There was something on the scanner earlier about that, but they said it was a false alarm. Thank you so much, Eddie. So, you know what I mean? Imagine if someone's not really watching the news even locally and they're like, there's a little man, let me just pick him up quick. No, share it. Make sure everybody knows, okay? So welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. I know it's been a very, very hectic time, and I really appreciate you being able to be here. Welcome to all my patrons as well, all my members, all the new subscribers, the OGs, original Grizzlies. Really appreciate you being here with me. I do want to say that I'm done sitting there for hours and hours and hours watching a roadblock and listening to the scanner live. It's exhausting. I listen to it all the time. I'm sleeping with one eye open, just like napping. I say sleeping because I'm napping with one eye open, always listening to the scanner, lurking on the stream, seeing if there's anything. If there's any actual news, not like he could be here, he could be there, he could be here, now he's here, now he's there. If there's news, the main goal is catch him. Oh, you know I'll be here. But you know my channel is about bullet points, maps, documents, summaries, and press conferences, right? So that's what I do here. I don't generally sit here for hours and hours. That one time, a few days ago, where we sat here for hours, all night. Actually, it was 2 all-nighters. It's because I really thought they had him in that one little area. Well, they've lost him at least twice. In fact, there were 5 credible sightings of him, and they still haven't caught this guy. So, sorry, I'm missing a lot of messages. Someone said, hello from the search area. Thank you so much for being here as well. To all the locals, thank you for all the information that you are sharing with me. Let me also tell you, there is a pinned comment. If you didn't see it, though, there will be a press conference today at 3 o'clock Eastern. So I actually had the stream planned already for 2 o'clock Eastern, which it is now, just past 2 o'clock Eastern, right? And perfect timing, because we can discuss a few things, okay? Couple little updates and things, and then we can watch that press conference together and boost it. Okay, and Nissa Marie, thank you for being a member for 4 months. Sorry if I missed any stickers or membership thing. I'm so sorry about that, okay? Now, let me first just tell you this one. There's actually a trooper on Twitter that shared it first. I retweeted it. So if you are following me there on Twitter at True Crime Grizzly, you would have seen, that's also a really good place to see me do updates. I make YouTube shorts. I'm doing updates on Twitter. Okay, so follow me there so you can see everything I'm retweeting and all the things that are happening, especially in a case like this, which I do think is time sensitive. It's very, very urgent. There's a very dangerous fugitive on the run there, an escaped murderer. Sure, my word. Okay. Yes, Auntie Lynn said we were absolutely spoiled by the capture of the whites. We really thought that they would be. Sometimes they are. We saw Gonzalo Lopez was captured and, he was killed. That was quite hectic. But yeah, we've actually followed quite a few manhunts on this channel. I was thinking back and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So, what I want to show you here is that trooper that shared something on Twitter, a little snippet saying there will be a press conference. That was pretty cool. It's called X now. General Jen says, what's a Twitter? Well, now it's called X, okay? It's a social media platform. And I'm very active on there as well. Miss Sunshine, thank you so much. And so this trooper shared it there, so we had a good heads up, and then here it was posted on the Chester County District Attorney's page. So I don't know what they're going to say today. You know, what are they going to say today? I'm glad they're keeping the public informed, though. That always helps to build trust, I would say. Right? So they said, advisory today, Westchester, Pennsylvania State Police, to provide an update on escape search. Pennsylvania State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bevins will be providing an update on the search for the escaped inmate Danelo Cavalcante. What? It's like the invitation. What? Okay, Pennsylvania State Police to provide an update on search efforts. When? Wednesday, September 6th, 2023 at 3 p.m. So that would be 3 p.m. local, which is Eastern. Live streamed on Facebook. So we'll keep this tab open like we did last time. And when it's ready, we'll be boosting it. So we've got that. There's also, I'm going to show you a few things. There's a few things to discuss. I've made a presentation for you as well. I'll have to watch the time. So let me quickly do this. Here we go. And it's presentation time now. So if you haven't been following, I hope that you have been. There's a playlist for you. I've linked it in the description box for you. There's a lot of info there that you may want to catch up on if you are brand new to this case right now. You know, if you're like, what is this all about? Everything, especially from Sunday when I started talking about this manhunt, we did a deep dive on who this guy is, what his previous crimes were, how he escaped the prison, and then we got some anonymous emails, okay, that told us a little bit more about how he escaped, and now that's actually made mainstream news where somebody anonymous, it seems, also spoke to someone at mainstream media, so that's out there now. At least then you know it's that's confirmed in a way, because it's everywhere now, how he escaped. We'll go over that again, okay, just in case you missed it. Emily said, Gisela, you are the best. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emily. I really appreciate it. Jillibean said, I'm just wondering where's that. Where is he at? Oh, there's so many places to hide. We're going to go over it. Denise said, thank you, G. Other YouTubers are waiting and watching you. They're waiting and watching me. What are they watching me for? Okay, so look at this. There is a new emergency system that they talked about at yesterday's press conference, right? I actually haven't signed up myself yet because I got to put in an American address and all that, okay? But I'll get there. So the point is, it's ReadyChesco.org. And thank you to everyone who's already signed up for the ReadyChesco.org notifications. I really appreciate when you send me the screenshots when you do get these notifications, okay? It's not always possible for me to sign up to these things. Anyway, so they say this is a message from the Pennsylvania State Police. The manhunt of escaped convict Danelo Cavalcante has focused in the immediate areas surrounding the Brandywine Creek in Birmingham and Pennsbury townships. Residents in this area are asked to please lock all external doors and vehicles and remain vigilant. You see? You see that risk we talked about yesterday? If he gets a vehicle, oh man, oh man. People are saying, well, maybe he won't get far. He can get far enough where people wouldn't then know about him. Again, one would think it's national and international news, but you'll be surprised how few people are actually tuned in to true crime and these manhunts and things like that. Susan, thank you so much for your 20-pound, whoa, 20-pound super sticker. Really appreciate it. So, this was quite a thing yesterday. Okay, I was awake. Okay, beady eyes in the night. Just not always live, but I'm listening and I'm like, very interesting. And there was another big swarm of activity. There were helicopters up, drones out, the tactical CERT went out there again, the SERT, Specialized Emergency Response Team, they were out there again. That was the whole night vision goggle thing again. And unfortunately, he was not found. Damn. Texas State of Mind said, Grizzly strong. Yes, oh thank you. So, they said, that's where it's focused. I'll show you that on the map. Residents in this area are asked to lock all external doors and vehicles and remain vigilant. Review your surveillance cameras and contact police if you observe anything suspicious. If you see this individual, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately. Please call 717-562-2987 with general tips and information. So they did give us that tip line, which was a new one that they added to everything as well. Vicky said he's not without food. People have gardens and garden hoses, wild berries. He knows how to survive. It does seem like he knows. Look, his belly's pretty full here. Look at the belly. He's got his little... He's got peaches in there. He's got stuff in the backpack. He's carrying some other bag here as well. And his belly, he looks pretty well fed there. I don't know what he ate. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, one would now be able to assume he's got some knowledge of how to survive, although he could also just be dawdling around in circles because it's pretty much like he's staying in that area. We're going to go over some ideas of maybe why. He could be right now running out of energy. He could start hallucinating. We've seen this happen before. Even with, remember Ted Bundy? That's how he was caught. Because he ran out of food and energy and just was getting all and then lost his way and literally walked right into the cops. Okay, sorry. Let me just mute all these notifications I've got going. So C minor op says, I could be wrong, but I feel the cops focus on the perimeter he's already passed. I get he's short, but they act like he moves at a toddler's pace. And he doesn't. We're going to look at that map as well. Welcome, Kirsten White to Grizzly supporter. Yeah, no, he moves, So we shall see. Mom 23 Kitty said, hi G, Grizzlies and Supermods lurking. So we've got that. Okay, now let's continue on. We're continuing on. Yeah, June said Ted was a monster. This one also. Now, Bolte, that's another inmate. They've now revealed his name at least. Bolte escaped in May from the very same prison. In the very same way. Inmates talk to each other. So this guy escaped, and obviously all the inmates talked. They said in an anonymous email that I read out to you guys, I think it was yesterday, that the prison itself tried to reinforce that area, which sounds like fencing or something. They tried to reinforce it, but Cavacante broke out the exact same way. So we've got that. Somebody emailed to ask, can I show this again? So I'm just showing it again because locals were not aware of this. There were no media briefings, press conferences, notifications about this. This is a picture that one of the Grizzlies sent to me saying he was literally standing at that fence at the back there. This is a picture from later. There, you see the picture of him. This guy was just walking in his prison outfit. Whoa, like in their backyard. And they called it in and they said, okay, we'll come get him. So we've got that. Let me show you this quickly. Here. Let's put it above so that we can focus on it and keep our presentation going there. Hold on. Okay. So let's quickly go over this. They said, unlike Cavalcante, Bolte, the inmate who previously escaped, was apprehended relatively quickly, court records show. Bolte was in custody for violating his probation in a 2019 aggravated, I'm going to say for YouTube, assault case for punching a police officer when he scaled a narrow outdoor hallway in one of the prison's exercise yards, according to the affidavit of probable cause filed for his arrest on the escape. He was filmed doing so on the prison's security cameras, placing his feet on one wall, his hands on the other, climbing the walls in a horizontal position. Damn, until he reached the roof, the affidavit said. He then climbed down from the roof and was seen running past a security station near the prison's front entrance. So, what do we learn there from Bolte? Oh, so the prison probably has footage of this as well. And why don't they want to talk about it, the district attorney's office? Because that's embarrassing. Like, damn. 2 in a row. One in May, and now this one. Same way. So they say he then climbed, down from the roof, was seen running past a security station near the prison's front entrance. Wow. An officer posted near the exercise yard saw Bolte and notified the other guards that he escaped. Okay. Officers patrolled the area and found Bolte about 5 minutes later outside of a home about a half a mile from the prison. That's the pictures we got, okay? The affidavit said he was soaking wet and told the officers he had jumped into the home's pool in an attempt to avoid them. Bolte later told police his plan was to run backward toward West Chester, where he knew he could find aid. See, we learned from this. Snowwitch said, do you know if the aircrafts were using heat-seeking tech at night? Appreciate all of your work. I do believe they were, and I saw a former FBI agent talking to, can't remember which news station, I think it was the Philadelphia News, and he said that with these temperatures right now in the air, it's very hot right now in Pennsylvania, with the temperatures, it actually makes the heat, the thermal imagery a little bit less effective. It's kind of what he was saying. It makes it more difficult because the ground is so hot as well. So that's interesting. Crazy Shark Lady said, thank you, G. I like that Crazy Shark Lady. Thank you, G, and the mods for the hard work to make this the best channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Nancy said, right now, hello, hovering over. Let's just see, over northwest. Was there last night as well? State routes 162 and 182. Well, we're going to go over that as well. Thank you so much. Early Riser said he was a survivalist in the Brazilian rainforest. So Peaches, how do you know that? Because that I see getting some traction on social media, and it's just based on just someone saying it. No one knows that, right? Early Riser, I'm just asking. It was said, it was, and not in a speculative way. People were like, oh, he's a survivalist from the rainforest in Brazil. But now, that cannot just be fact now. We don't know that. We don't know that, right? Unless you know him. Do you know him? What do you mean a survivalist, huh? In the Brazilian rainforest even, the stories even is like broken telephone. It's gaining some traction. I mean, clearly we could see he can survive in the wild for now. Okay, so now that we have this, okay, you see that? Bolt's criminal case on the escape is pending. It wasn't his first time trying to flee custody. In July 2019, a month after pleading guilty in the aggravated case, Bolte escaped from a lower security work release center located near the main prison, according to an affidavit of probable cause. So you see, he tried already. That was Bolte. The reason I'm reading this to you is so that you can see where he ran, what he did. Imagine if this guy, Danelo, is like hiding in the pool. Check your pools, on my word. You got a flashlight? Shine it on your pools at night. Maybe he's in the pool at night, hiding from everyone. Imagine it. They said Bolte ran into a wooded area near the prison, leading state police and county detectives on an hours-long chase, the affidavit said. He eventually surrendered, waving his arms to a police helicopter overhead to signal them. For that escape, Bolte was sentenced to 9 to 23 months in prison and 1 year probation. Okay, Teresa said, so happy I found you. Knuffel. Thank you so much, Teresa. Okay, sorry if I'm missing some of your chats. It's obviously very, very busy, and I can't keep up with all of it and my presentation. I would need to be a spider with 8 eyes. Miss Enigma said apparently he was reading survivalist books in prison. See, that's a rumor that I could buy into a little bit. And it's going to be part of my presentation of what did he do in prison to prepare for this, huh? Thank you so much, Miss Enigma, but how do we know that? Okay, wait, am I missing something? Let's just see. Okay, we saw that. Welcome, Ralph. So, going back to... There's also another one that I wanted to show you quickly. This one? Look at this one. This one was from the 90s, from the same area. Luck ran out Friday morning for escaped murderer Norman Johnston. Yes, it is Johnston. His capture after an all-out manhunt in Pennsylvania's southern Chester County ended his 19 days of freedom. Let me remind you, this was in August of 1999. Oh my word. LH said, how embarrassing. Fire the police chief and call in one 5,000-man National Guard brigade. Caught within the hour. Total incompetence. Oh, thank you, LH, for your sticker. Okay, so check this out. Members, if you are able to type just a little bit less frequently, it might help because we still got lots of members, okay? And despite making all kinds of shifts and changes so that we could try our very best to control the slow mode, because slow mode does not apply to members. If you could, just type a little less frequently, it would help the chat and for everyone to get a word in. Yorkie, thank you so much. You say, sorry it took me so long to become a member. No, never required, but thank you so much for doing so. So this guy, okay, another guy, same area. Luck ran out Friday morning for escaped murderer Norman Johnston. His capture after an all-out manhunt in Pennsylvania's southern Chester County ended his 19 days of freedom. Why am I reading this stuff? Because I'm like, how long have some of these others been on the run? 19 days. We got him, a state trooper told reporters before hurrying off. He declined to offer more details, saying a full press briefing would be held. Police captured Johnston at 5:45 a.m. Eastern Time near Pennsylvania, Route 52, near the Delaware state line. Interesting. A string of state police cars, lights flashing, swept up the road toward the Avondale State Police Barracks, with Johnston apparently in the third car. Police began focusing on the area after a car chase late Thursday night. Apparently, Johnston abandoned his car in the Deerfield, so this one doesn't have a car, the Cavacante one, but just listen, in the Deerfield housing development. Dozens of police cars were called out and helicopters with searchlights took to the air. Search teams with dogs began a ground search. Sounds familiar, right? Michelle said he was special forces and did a couple of hours in Afghanistan, and the part of Brazil he's from is all survival. My brother-in-law is from Brazil. This again I want to know, because I've had people from Brazil email me to say he wasn't part of the military. So how do you know that? How do you know this? Pinch of salt, speculation. But thank you so much for the information. Please email me stuff like this and tell me how you know. We're going to need to see screenshots of his something. So we need proof, because this is really gaining traction on social media. And it's not the first time we see that happen, right? Okay. Okay. Crystal said the rumor about the survival skills comes from a previous inmate who was a survivalist. Got out. Exactly. That was from the one who escaped in July. We looked at that the other day. Exactly. That's it. That's being peppered in now with this. Everybody be blending the information about the previous survivalist. We looked at that guy. What is his name again? Burham? I think his surname was Burham. We looked at the other day. Okay. So the point is this guy was on the run for 19 days and they eventually caught him. Okay, I'm just mentioning it to you in case you want to see. Let's just see this where they say, the police say the officer chased the man up a hill into a thicket near railroad tracks behind the restaurant. The cop tackled him and a brief scuffle followed before the man broke free and disappeared into the woods. The officer was armed only with a baton and pepper spray. Johnston's August 2nd break from the State Correctional Institute of Huntington, Pennsylvania was carefully planned. The TV program showed the dummy he had in his cell. I think he was the dummy in the cell. For 12 hours, prison guards thought Johnston was there. Ooh, you see that as well? Authorities who believe he had assistance in the escape say he soared through the bars of his cell's window, shinnied under the barbed wire and stole a truck. So that's just another example, okay? That's all I'm trying to do there. So now, you have the picture of this dude Bolte who escaped in May. He was and is from the same prison, Chester County Prison, same jail, where Danelo Cavalcante was. And so Cavacante would have heard, probably from this guy, how he escaped. Okay. So continuing on. Let's keep it going. Here. Okay, now I want to show you this. Just a little overview, a little recap. I don't know if you guys check out my YouTube shorts. I hope you do because I did some updates today on a few cases, but also this one. I updated pretty much everything that happened last night in like 60 seconds because really it was a big hype, many hours, and actually they were like, okay, they could have been seen there, and there, but they didn't catch him. Unfortunately not yet. Anita Martin, thank you so much. Okay, no, let me correct this quickly. Okay, so guess what? In the UK and South Africa and other countries, we say pinch of salt. And then in the USA, you guys say grain of salt. And that's where the argument comes in. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato, aluminum, aluminium. Literally spelled differently. Aluminum, aluminium, different spelling. Argument over. I am from South Africa, okay, and I live in the Netherlands, and we say pinch of salt. So that's where it comes from. I had to Google it again because I'm so done with that argument. Pinch of salt. Grain for you. Okay, see this map right here? This is, I hope you're a little bit familiar with the map because we've done quite a lot of map time. Remember the Waterglen area and Ballantree Lane? Okay, so let's first go to number 1. Prison escape, August 31st, 8:50 a.m., which is why I wanted to go over how he escaped. Now we know, okay? Second sighting, Ballantree Lane, September 1st, 11:45 p.m. Now remember when he escaped the prison, someone actually saw him walking on the side of the road. They just didn't realize the situation at that point, right? So he escaped the prison, someone saw him inside the road, gone into the woods. Then Glass Onion said, "You're my favorite way to procrastinate from working." Thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you so much. So he escaped from the prison. Then he was seen in this Ballantree Lane area on September 1st around 11:45 p.m. And they focused on that area. And then the police were saying, and the state troopers and the CERT team and everyone, right? Everyone was zoning in on there and trying to keep him encapsulated in that area. So then on the third sighting would have been on this Lenape, that road, on security camera, September 2nd at 1:44 a.m. So one of the residents there said that they saw him, and so again, they went in there. So that's what happened then. But then, okay, there was this deer cam. I even put him here. There was deer cam on September 4th. He actually was walking northward. So this map is facing north. You know, I like to orientate maps always facing north. It's what I learned at pilot school as well. So that's what we do. Always face north and then we orientate ourselves. So this guy, listen to this. Okay, that's what the short was about as well. You see that little bubble that I made, that little circle? They were focused on that, right? At 7 p.m. on September 4th, the whole tactical force was in there. They were there with night vision goggles. They were saying, bring the Gatorade and snacks, okay? let's all go in there. And they made an entire like perimeter of cop cars to show lights and everything to try to chase him away from the lights and basically push him into the path of the guys with the night vision goggles. Well, the thing is, yesterday at the press conference, the police chief said, well, it worked because they squeezed him out of the area and they think it's a good thing. I don't think so. I think it was a little bit of a failure that he actually escaped the perimeter. It would be better if they just said, well, that's what we tried to do. It didn't work, so we're going to work even harder on catching him. But anyway, they squeezed him out, was the wording. And so they were focused on that area. It started around 7 p.m. Eastern. I remember because I went live when it started, right? So I was like calculating the exact time. 7 p.m. By 8:21, this guy was down here at this Kendall Drive area, right? Near Longwood Gardens. We looked at that on the map yesterday as well. So that means he saw the choppers. Whoa, he's like looking up. He saw the lights, saw the activity, and somehow slipped through the cracks. He literally just started walking southward. And initially, he was spotted on the camera going northward. So actually, there's a few theories here. He could have already left the area and then was walking northward at 8:21 p.m. when he was spotted on that camera. And then he saw all the lights and he's like, oh, crap. And then he was heading southward again. Okay, the southward was at 9:30 p.m., which means like how far did he walk far up north? How far did he walk to turn around again and come back down south? Interesting. Anyway, well, they were all focused there. So, yeah, he was probably not even in the bubble. You know what I mean? He's probably not even in there at the time. So this guy was around here. Then the next sighting. This was all the rage yesterday. Okay, it was along. They talked about this 250 Chandler Road. Or snap peas. He needs to steal toilet paper. Toilet paper? Oh no. I don't know. Yeah. Let's not think about that. Thank you so much for your sticker. So yesterday on the scanner, I was listening. There was something about Chandler Road. And they said the suspect is seen on camera. And everybody was freaking out. But I listened to it for a while. And it was actually a lady that said the father of her children was spotted on camera, okay, at that Chandler Road area. And he's not supposed to be there. And she wanted the police to go and check it out. So that's what that was initially about. But then it just like progressed into that the inmate may have been spotted around that area. So then suddenly, I'm sure you saw Fox 29 was out there. Everybody was out there. It was like lights, camera, action, just like, whoo, big, big hype of goody. And it was all the same as we saw the other night with the night vision goggles and all that stuff, which is great. I hope they keep doing it. I hope they catch him, right? But then later, they said on September 5th at 6:30 p.m., yesterday, 6:30 p.m., he was spotted around that like Creek Road area. Now that starts getting quite interesting because there are like railway lines. So earlier in this case coverage, people have sent me things like, what about the underground tunnels? What about the railway lines? And I'm like, I don't know. It seemed a little early for that. You know why? Because they were focused on that little area. That's where the focus was, okay? So I'm like, he must be in there, in the woods somewhere. I don't know if he's yet out and about to go into these tunnels or onto the railway line, but now he is, right? Now he is. Cammy, the thing is, you can just go on Google Maps and just zone out yourself, right? I will show it later. I've shown it many times, but if you want to right now see where it is in relation to you, just type in even Waterglen Lane, Chester County, Pennsylvania, and check for yourself from how close it is to you guys. Okay, so I can't follow it with a pointer because I'm right here. It's on the screen for me. I've made this presentation for you. Okay, I've put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got it. Okay, so that is pretty much the last place where they spotted him. Allegedly, someone saw him there. Again, it's running in the woods and all that kind of thing. So they went there and they were not able to catch him. So if he is there, though, there's danger there. Because now, what if he gets on a train or something? I first thought, this sounds like a movie. Like, is he going to be like running next to a cargo train and like, catch on and off he goes? I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. But then I see, oh, crap. Like, the trains actually stop there, sometimes for even 15 minutes at a time. And you just don't even know. They actually stop near there. So, here on social media, on X or Twitter, somebody said, ECB said, train cleared per CBS Philadelphia. Which means that this train of thought, pun intended, wow, the police were there. They were searching. This became a real threat. So they said, thank you so much to the person who emailed me this information. There's actually quite a few. I asked on Twitter if you could please send me information about all these train lines, and I got an abundance of information. I'm going to need to spend even more time just deep diving that, because like, I think I got all the train information possible. But what I really want to know is it even possible? Does the train even stop there? Like, how often does it go through there? I've seen conflicting comments, so I wanted more information. Of all the emails I received, they all say pretty much the same. They say a freight line runs along the Brandywine Creek and Creek Road, where there were rumored sightings on September 5th. Intersection of 926 and Pocopson Road in Pocopson Township. The train line crosses 926. Several times a day, trains cross there, frequently stopping, backing up to drop cars, switch tracks, or drop freight at the Ace Hardware there. Getting stuck there for 15 minutes or more is not uncommon. Ugh. See, that's a little bit of a problem there. So if I go back to this map, I'll put it on now for you guys. This map right here. Let's just check the time. Damn, because time flies when we're doing presentations, doesn't it? Okay, so now I can use my pointer because I got the map on. Okay, so it would be around here. They were first all buzzing around here, and then they all went eastward to around this area. This Creek Road area. Somewhere around here. Brandywine Creek. Now imagine if he's walking along the creek. He's only 5 foot tall. 120 pounds. Maybe by now he's 100 pounds. I don't know. He's losing weight. It's very hot. And he's eating snappies. So they were all around this Brandywine Creek area. And you could see that the choppers were also flying all up and down here. Up and down here. And today they've been flying up and down in this area as well. And then the police went to the area to make sure that he's not actually on one of those trains. So I really hope, they said it's been cleared there, allegedly. I hope he doesn't catch a train out there. Damn. Okay, yeah, Joan, that's the thing. There's talk. I would say there's gossip now that he trained. Oh man, people are hyping this guy up so much. There's no confirmation of that. It's just gained social media traction. The case is officially reaching the place where it's about to take a left turn to Crazy Town. Mary said Ted Bundy, notorious American serial killer, escaped twice and was on the run for a total of 46 days before they caught him. It happens. I know, right? Thanks, Mary. I wrote a book on Ted Bundy. You can get it on Amazon. I even have an audiobook on him. Yes, indeed. And that's what I was referencing earlier. Indeed, you're right. We think alike, Mary. And why was he caught? Because he got tired. He ran out of food and water. He got tired. His foot was sore as well from jumping out. So, yeah, off the courtroom there. Damn. Okay, so this area is very important right now as well. Now, it seems then that this guy is hanging around this area, could we say. And we might need to analyze that a little bit of what is going on there. Why is he staying there? It's very wooded, but there's a lot of areas that are very wooded. Interestingly as well, I got an email from a lady who lives in Newark, Delaware. And she said that she saw him. She saw this guy at her complex. Now, of course, I got to take that with a pinch of salt, because remember, from South Africa, pinch of salt, okay? It's social media stuff, but I'm like, imagine if he's in Delaware. She said they locked eyes. She saw he had different clothes on. She called it in. A state trooper came out, circled the complex a bit, and that's all she heard about it. But I'm like, oh my word, if this guy's in Delaware. It would be great if you looked into Popcorn Planet. Why would you bring that up here now? Why? This is a true crime channel. I don't get it. I don't do drama. I don't do crime. I do not vet people on social media. Thank you for the sticker, but no, that's not the type of investigations I do. Hell no. And also don't live under a rock. In my free time, I'm very aware of the crime that goes on. This channel is crime free. That means crime and drama. No, thank you. Okay, so they're going to keep an eye on that, and we will look. Let me quickly see if I can refresh where the choppers are now. I'll tell you in a moment, because they've been flying around here all day. There's one aircraft here now. There's nothing really going on here. I've got the flight radar open just to check, what else is happening. I don't see any choppers there right now. Okay, so that's what we have there. Oh, my word. I better not run out of time with my presentation. Yeah, that's right, Ellie B from Tennessee. I do not do crime. Okay, so they've had a look at that. Good that they've been there at least, and they're not like, people are being so dramatic. They went there. They checked trains. Now, what does this guy, it's important to also sometimes think about stepping into his shoes. Okay, they're probably really smelly right now. Very wet socks, okay? But what, if we had to think like him for a second, what does he have to his advantage right now? Okay, and you can also say things. Let me just get through some bullet points and then I'm going to look, okay? Sarah said spicy. Spicy, G. Snarky. Actually, just boundaries. It's just boundaries. Okay, very clear boundaries. Okay, what does he have to his advantage right now? He has a backpack, a change of clothing, because they saw him in a sweater. I mean, here he's not wearing anything on top. Thank goodness he's wearing pants. Good job, buddy. Good job, because you were caught on camera. What does he have to his advantage? A backpack, a change of clothing, some sweater he stole from somewhere. Perhaps some stored food. He would have eaten the snap peas and the apples and the peaches by now. But what did he put in the backpack? Where has he been stealing food from? You know what I mean? And there are gardens. Yeah, you can use people's garden hose. All of that. And if he's in that Longwood Gardens area, people were saying there's so much fruit to pick and food to eat and all that kind of stuff. Okay. He's in an area where it's relatively easy to hide. I mean, one could say extremely easy to hide, but I'm trying to just be like, okay, it's relatively easy to hide. I mean, it's like thick nature. He's in the woods. But yeah, it's pretty easy to hide if he just stays in that area. Dense wooded area, creeks, hilly terrain. He may be used to warmer or more humid weather, right? Okay. Just want to see quickly. Yes, Rita, that's Rita is talking about a scanner, maybe picking up someone with a backpack. That was apparently a false alarm. It's already been debunked. But I did hear it. It's all over social media. Thank you so much. Tara said, keep it grizzly. Focus. We like to focus here. Yes, indeed. Remember, I'm the calm in the storm. I'm not the storm or the chaos. Or like, look at this, look at this, look at it. I don't do that energy. Don't do it in my inbox. You're going to get a snarky G, okay? I was just responding to that comment there. Okay, so he's in an area where it's easy to hide. Dense wooded area, creeks, hilly terrain. He may be used to warmer or more humid weather, although it is very freaking warm and humid there. But yeah, he may be used to it being from Brazil. I don't like overgeneralizing like that, but Brazil can get pretty hot and humid. We don't know if he really was a survivalist. We know about the other guy that was, but we don't know about his background too much. We know he was a former gang member, okay? But he may be, so maybe it doesn't affect him as much as someone who might not be so used to it, right? Janet said, keep calm and grizzly on. Exactly. He may have served in the military. But a local emailed me and said many men in Brazil, 90%, are dismissed. Even if they apply, they don't all get taken. They're going to take the top ones. I also think, sorry to say, but they're going to take average height ones. Not short little dudes like this. I don't think so. I'm not sure. But like, he might not be tall enough. And he also was a former gang member. I'm not sure if a gang member's values and aspirations are exactly the same as being in the military. I'm not sure. Okay, that seems like not quite. He'd be acting out of character. Anyway, and we don't know exactly the timeline of which gang he was in. Why the hell does he have no tattoos? And keep that in mind for Rachel Morin's case. This guy was a former gang member. Where's his tattoos? When John Kelly and I, criminal profiler John Kelly, were talking about Rachel Morin, the suspect, and saying, what if he could be in a gang? Everybody laughed and said he can't be because there's no tattoos. Where's this guy's tattoos? I don't see him covered in them. Maybe it's a new, like, non-verbal thing they do. I don't know. Maybe there's other ways. So, he may have served in the military. Maybe. I don't know how that will help him here, but it might if he was, okay? Then, he's not afraid of taking risks. Obviously, we know this because he's a former gang member who murdered someone in Brazil, fled the country with help, then got a girlfriend, stayed with her, and even though he is an illegal immigrant, he's had this girlfriend, Deborah, that he murdered in front of her children. Before a barbecue, there were witnesses there. This guy. He takes big risks, this guy. And they had a DV, he was the DV aggressor in a DV relationship. And all that time, the police, when they came out there, they didn't realize he's an illegal immigrant wanted for murder? We got to start there, people. We got to go back to that. What happened there? Clearly, this guy takes risks. You would think if you're going to be like laying low because you don't want to be sent back to Brazil for murder, yeah, you might not want to, trigger warning, beat up your girlfriend. How about it? Ugh, the This guy, my word. But anyway, he takes risks. And after he murdered Deborah, he was on the run. He went to Virginia. This guy takes risks. So he's not afraid of taking risks. That is a strength of his right now, okay? He is in control for now and calculated. We know that also because of the relationship and the way it was described, that he was an extremely controlling and jealous boyfriend. He likes to be in control. So what can we say about that as well? What if, people think like he's walking around with a phone or walkie-talkie or something. Highly doubt it. Even if he stole one, where is he going to charge it? But what if all you grizzlies sitting there locally in your living area at night, blasting Grizzly True Crime all over your TV, loud, he literally just has to lie underneath your window outside and you can listen to all the updates. Do you think of that? Thank you so much, Corey. He could be listening to things outside of houses. Because why the hell is he continuously spotted outside of houses? Yes, he wants to steal food and clothing and things. Maybe he's listening in as well. Okay, so he's in control. He has no visible tattoos. He has long hair, it means it's easy to change his appearance if he finds the resources. Got to find himself a tattoo artist. He'd be like, cover me in tattoos and no one will recognize him. If he also was like, found a way to shave all his hair off, got something real sharp, that's interesting too. Right? Okay? And his new clothing, or you've got some bleach to put on his hair or something. You just never know. The next full moon is on September 29th, so he has a few weeks where it's getting darker and darker, heading towards the darkest night. Okay? So that's to his advantage because he mostly moves around at night. And then he's alone. He's stealthy. And he's obviously motivated not to get caught at all costs because not only is he wanted for murder in Brazil, but he was also just sentenced to life without parole. And everybody, the whole world now, knows he's an illegal immigrant. He knows. It's life or death for him. This is not like, oops, sorry. Okay, take me back to my cell. This is very hectic. This is life or death for him. This is a total survival. It's not a game, but you know what I mean? Like a survival game for him. Okay, DB France. That's old information. That's the one we talked about. Okay, so that's what we have. That's to his advantage right now. Okay. Now, what are his disadvantages right now? His escape has made national and international news. So there's more people that are aware of him. So you can't just put up a thumb on the side of the road and be like, "Can you take me somewhere? Hey, truck driver, what's up?" Most people would know what he looks like, but you see even like a truck driver coming through the area. Ooh, are they watching of any of this coverage? Do they know about it? Because they might not be from the area passing through, and you might be like, "Can you pick me up?" But that is a high risk, but he does take risks. So I think it is a possibility that he could actually at some point start hitchhiking. Yes. So anyway, it's national, international news. There's a large law enforcement and media presence all around the area where he's trying to stay hidden. He does not have contact with his family or friends to assist him like last time. He's alone. But I'm telling you now, if he could make contact with them, he will. Okay? He is likely very tired, hungry, and thirsty by now. Thirsty boy. Okay, so, but then again, there's the garden hoses and all of that. Get it? But, yeah, at some point, I mean, this must be, even the stress and all the walking. My goodness. Mary said, theory. He Google Earth the area. He has outside help, explains the backpack and clothes, trying to get a pickup point. Yeah, we're thinking alike again, Mary. Helpers listening to coverage to get idea where he is. Drawn map in cell used to throw off cops. Very interesting theory. Thank you, Mary, for your sticker. So, yes, let's get to that. Dinah said he'd have to be 1.60 meter. Oh, you see that? And he's not that tall, right? Wait, 5 foot is how many? 5 foot in meters. 1.5. Okay. He's not tall enough to join. There you go. I love a debunk like that. Oh, thank you. Too short to be in the military. So, okay, it's been very hot and humid. So there's mosquitoes, fatigue, the bugs, the hot weather, the stress, the calculations, the everything, the fear, the survival, still there. Okay, the paranoia must be getting to him by now. He likely does not have a GPS or phone to help him navigate, which is why he mostly moves around at night. And as I say, he could be lurking outside your windows listening to Grizzly True Crime or the news, for all we know. Anyway, fatigue could lead to hallucinations, feeling completely lost, and being so worn out that he would make mistakes. But let's just see what we don't know. That's the next slide. I'm like, where is it? Where did I put this? Okay, let's just see how long till the press conference. 14 minutes to the press conference. What we don't know. You know I do this. If you've been here for a long time, you guys know I like to do this. What do we know? Like, what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? What is the risk? What don't we know? He obviously learned from Bolte's escape. If you don't know who Bolte is, then you missed the beginning of this episode and yesterday's. Okay, we talked about this other inmate who escaped from the very same prison in May, and he told all the other inmates about it. There's apparently talk about it between the inmates of how he did it, because he got caught and got taken back to the prison. This guy would have learned from that. He escaped the exact same way from the exact same place, and that's from Inside Knowledge anonymous emails, right? Okay. He obviously learned from Bolt's escape and got tips from him, even though Bolt's case had no coverage. He also learned from his previous escape. He was arrested in Virginia by a state trooper. So he's like, avoid state troopers at all costs. Don't get in a vehicle. Because they knew at that point about a vehicle that he was in and caught him in it. So there's that. So that leads me to think, if he's going to get out there, he's going to want someone to pick him up, right? So we do not know how much experience he has with surviving in the wild. We just don't know. He may be staying in the area because he arranged for someone to pick him up after example. It's just an example. Imagine if with these jail calls, I hope they're analyzing the crap out of it. If he's speaking in Portuguese or Spanish, they better translate it and be like, okay, I'm going to make my escape. You pick me up at this point 7 days from now. Okay? Imagine if he said that, which is why he's dawdling around the area. He's just going round and round, trying to stay in like a square pattern so that he can get to the point where someone's going to pick him up. We just don't know that. Because guess what? There's going to be people out there who want to help him. We see them in the chat. There's one or two that come in here. We just say trolls, but what if it's people that are really on his side? Sorry, I'm trying to put your sticker on LEB from Tennessee. Sometimes YouTube doesn't work with me. Okay, hold on. Picturing him lurking outside my window, listening to Grizzly True Crime, trying to drink from my hose. He's going to haunt me forever. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, man. So, okay, we've got that. I'm trying to glance at the comments as well. Yes. You see? The Craftaholic says, wow, gee, first I've heard of this. I live 2 hours north of this. I'm hoping he goes south. Imagine if he goes north. He'll be like, I'm going to go south. He looked like he was looking at that camera, and he's like, I tricked you going north. But he's staying in that, like, area. So, as I say, he may be staying in the area because he's arranged in advance in a week or two for someone to pick him up. Just hide. Maybe his mission is just hide. Stay low. And get as close to that location as possible so that people can pick me up, whoever that may be. He may have been studying the area in advance and have a map with him from the prison. Maybe he did a little Control P. Let's print this out and put it in my pocket. Maybe he stole some maps. He's doing some map time of his own. Or maybe he's just really lost, which is why he's dawdling around like that. Okay. But he may have actually planned this and even going to the trial every day. The drives he did. I'm not sure exactly where the court is. I should look at that. Where exactly is the courthouse? Which court did he go to? Maybe the drive to and from every day gave him a good idea of the area. We don't know. C minor officers could have broken into a home with a landline and called the gang. He could have. He's got gang connections. He's got friends. He's got family. Last time he escaped, his sister said, don't worry, he'll turn himself in, but he never did. Okay. Jenny said most homes have power outlets or outside of house or garage here in the USA. Thank you for everything. I mean, imagine that. If he stole a phone or something and there's a power outlet, as you say, outside of the house or something. Well, now he's lurking outside. We're adding to the picture now. Lurking outside the windows, listening to Grizzly True Crime, knowing where we all think he is, and then being like, I'm just going to charge someone's phone here quickly. Maybe he already had a burner phone, snuck in. How do we know? My word. Okay. All the things we don't know. He may have a weapon by now. I say example, knife. I don't know what else he would have, but he might have a knife by now. Could have stolen that. That guy that said he stole apples, peaches, and snappies. He was feeling so hungry. He got some lovely display of fruit and peas. So maybe then he said, we think there could also be steak knives missing. Exactly. MCTD Mama said, with a lack in security resulting in the escape, I wouldn't be surprised if he had smuggled in cell phone somehow. Could be turning it on and off to save battery. Could be that as well. You just never know. Which might also be why the FBI is involved. Maybe they'll be like, okay, time to look at all the cell phone pings in the whole area. We just don't know. To me, it's a little unlikely that he has a cell phone with him, but you just never know. Someone was also saying the prison outfit that he was wearing is too casual. Like there's different types of clothing in the prison. And they were saying what he was wearing would be someone that they like trust more than others. You know what I mean? Ranking the inmates. Like we learned about before. But he wasn't in LWOP yet. He was going to be transferred there to life without parole, another state prison. But they were saying he might have connections in the prison that may have somehow helped. We just don't know that either. Imagine that. Oh, my word. Maybe that's why they don't want to talk about it. Eliza Joy, thank you so much. Yeah, Miss Webb says, I heard he has a steak knife. That's what that one neighbor said, was that he stole some fruit, apples, peaches, and snap peas, and that they think that there's also some knives missing. Okay? Dinah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So then, he may be planning to steal a car or escape on a train when the coverage dies off. So maybe still it's lay low until the coverage dies off, the resources run out. We saw what happened with Brian Laundrie. After like a month, they're like, oh man, we can't afford this anymore. And maybe he'll just hang out until then. We just don't know. He would likely need assistance to get across the border. I don't know if he'll go back to Brazil. People saying he'll go back there. Why would he go back there if there's a warrant for his arrest for murder there? I think he'll go anywhere else. He's going to Cuba, Puerto Rico. Where's he going? Esther said, I think he has help or he has a phone, so he knows what areas to avoid. He knows what he's doing, otherwise he would already be caught. Groetjes uit Friesland. Esther, dankjewel. That was greetings from Friesland in the Netherlands, which is province here is known as Holland. You guys might notice that. Amsterdam you might know of. That's where I live, the Netherlands. Anita said apples, peaches. You just want me to say it again, right? People are clipping this like apples, peaches, and snappies. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. Okay, so I say this. Okay, what if someone in the area is on his side and wants to find him to help him get away? There was some lady yesterday walking on the side of the road with that Fox 29 footage. She's just going, there's like police cars and everything. She's going on a stroll. She's on a mission. Now, I'm not saying her. I'm just saying, what if people are out there? Because some people are like, I'm going to go search for him myself. Well, as long as you don't help him. Because we see it in chat. There's a small percentage of people that are like, I'm on his side. I'm rooting for him. Some people root for the underdog, not realizing like, hello, that what a disorder. You're rooting for this murderer, someone who murdered a wonderful mother of 2 in front of her 2 children? Because she called you out on stalking her and hacking into her Instagram account? She did say, I'm going to tell the police that you're wanted for murder in Brazil. Yeah. That's the guy you want to root for? Please don't do that. Taylor Wood, I'm genuinely baffled as to why they're not using FLIR technology to locate him. Given they have a general idea where he is, the government uses FLIR routinely in the military. I know, but they were saying that there are some... I know a little bit about FLIR, but they're saying with how hot it's been, it's making it more difficult. That's why they also have to wait until nighttime, of course, and all of that. They're saying that the temperatures right now in the area make it difficult, and I think they are using it, but it's just so freaking dense. The wooded areas he's in. And maybe he's like hiding in someone's pool or in the creek at night. Oh my word. Lorraine, welcome. Okay. And so, you guys are all guessing where he's going. Maybe, you never know. So that's what I have for you there, okay? Now let me quickly just see, I've got to see if there's anything else here. I think I'm gonna, oh yeah, we still got a little bit more. Michelle, snappies. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so what do we have going on here? These are now the underground tunnels. We're going to run out of time, aren't we? We're going to so run out of time. We've got 4 minutes left. Let's go. So this guy called Joseph A. Boss on Twitter says, looks like I was correct predicting the future again. Law enforcement now believes that Cavalcante's plan of escape is to follow the Brandywine Creek. Law enforcement might have changed his direction, but I believe this was his plan. Take that, haters. So creek relevance. The areas where Cavacante has been sighted and is believed to have been are connected by creeks, suggesting he may be using these waterways as guides. However, this strategy appears to be keeping him in a zigzag pattern around the vicinity of the jail. Here as well, there was the developing state police are checking cars, and this train on the northeastern edge of their search perimeter for escape murderer Danelo Cavalcante. Thank you so much, the Evil CJ Show. Really appreciate your sticker. So, this little map here, okay, it's very complex. I'm still looking at all of it. But apparently there are underground tunnels. If this guy starts figuring that out, especially in the direction he's heading with Brandywine Creek, oh crap. Now, I don't know how he's going to survive in the tunnels, but it could make it easier to get around, okay, from what I'm understanding. Okay, we're almost ready for this press conference. Here's an example of the terrain, because they say it's very, steep, very, very steep terrain, very wooded, and that's a good example of it. Look at this. My word. Saw this on the news. Rita, I've been watching you all weekend. I'm glad... Wait, let's just see. I'm glad I live in Baltimore. MD, that's only 1 hour away from where he is. Keep calm and vigilant. Yes, we love that. Keep calm, stay safe, stay vigilant. But mostly keep calm, everyone. Okay. An example of the terrain. Yes, okay. And now we're back to this flyer, which we've shared many times. 34 years old, 5 foot, 120 pounds, shaggy black hair, brown eyes, fluent in Spanish and Portuguese. So that is what we have, okay? Then, quickly, we've got 2 more minutes. Let's do this. This is the message that they played of his mom's voice. I just want to play it for you guys. I see people are trying to translate it. The press conference is in 2 minutes. Because you can't hear it all that well. So you can hear it's not the clearest message for us, but hopefully he will be able to hear it, you know, that's his mother's voice. Let's quickly go here, because we're going to now getting ready for the press conference here. Where your live event at? Not yet. It's going to happen any minute now. Okay, let's quickly just see what I missed. The press conference is going to be happening it should be happening in 1 minute. Sticky said his major disadvantage seems to be Ring doorbell cams and trail cams. That is a major disadvantage indeed. And CC said Brazil has mandatory military service for all males at age 18. That's true, but then they've got to be a certain height, and then they dismiss some of them, apparently. That's what I've been saying, so I'm not sure about that, but yes. He could have also had a criminal record, you know. We don't know that he got accepted at all. He might have already been in gangs and things like that and not qualified to be. And also, let's just see. Rubia said in a Brazilian chat Portuguese, they are saying he has a bad relationship with his mom, so that message would not work. Oh, man. Okay. So, come on, press conference. Where you at? I don't see it. They said it's happening. It's 3 o'clock Eastern, all right? Pennsylvania time. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. Waiting for it. Keep refreshing. Keep refreshing the page. Let me just go back to the post and just make sure. They put it here. 3 p.m. That's what they said. Go live. Go live. Still waiting. Okay. Emily said, I'm from Brazil, but I can't make out a word. The audio is not clear at all. Right? Joni said, no, don't encourage him to come to Florida. I figured he would have headed to Florida immediately. Stuck in the woods, can't go anywhere. Okay, so. Let me just make sure. Okay. Come on, press conference. What's the holdup? Did you catch him? Ooh, here it is. Go.
Chester County Commissioner and Prison Board President Josh Maxwell and Acting Chester County Prison Warden Howard Holland. As you know, on the morning of Thursday, August 31st, inmate Danelo Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Prison. In a few minutes, I'll provide an update on where we stand with the status of the manhunt for Cavalcante. But first, I know you all and the public have had a number of questions about the actual escape made by Cavacante. I'm going to turn this over to Acting Warden Holland to talk about that. I'd ask that following his remarks, you hold any questions until the end of our briefing, and we will be happy to take questions at that time.
Thank you, sir. I just want to ensure that we know the gravity of the situation and how it's impacted our community negatively. Moreover, to the victims of this individual, I want to make sure that they know that we are consistently and consciously thinking of what they're going through and give out the fact that they continually are on our thoughts and prayers to make sure we bring Mr. Cavacante to justice. So good afternoon. I am Howard Holland, the acting warden of the Chester County Prison. I'm here today to provide preliminary details of the escape of Danelo Cavalcante. Let me begin by addressing the escape of Igor Bolte, which the media has been reporting on. Igor Bolte, which escaped on May 19th of this year. This escape was similar to the methodology of the escape by Cavacante, and the escape by Igor Bolte allowed the prison to identify a deficiency in the exterior exercise yard where the escape occurred. This is also the same area, the escape yard, where Cavacante was located prior to his escape. The exercise yard improvements undertaken after Bolte's escape were intended to address the escape route from the yard to the roof area. Security consultants were brought in, and improvements were based on the consultants' findings by a contracted security service. The improvement consisted of additional razor wire being placed in the yard area at the wall where the escape occurred to block access to the roof. The escape of Cavacante is not just being internally investigated. Because it is in criminal nature, it is also being investigated by the State Attorney General's office. The video of Cavacante's escape has been turned over to the criminal investigators. I will review the exact timeline and show a video of Cavacante's escape from the exercise yard at the end of my remarks, but can confirm that it does show that Cavacante escaped at the same location as Igor Bolte, but for Cavacante, there was razor wire to contend with before reaching the roof. Secondly, Chester County Prison uses proven countermeasure security that are an industry standard. For example, high fencing, razor or barbed wire, secure doors or gates with sally ports to control movement, video cameras, and most importantly, correctional officers, all of which were in place and remain in place. One of the issues brought to light as we conduct our internal investigations on Cavacante's escape is that once the additional razor wire had been added to the escape route, following Igor Bolte's escape in May, it was determined by our security advisors that this one level of security was sufficient. In fact, what was perhaps overlooked was the fact that addressing the single point of physical countermeasure should have been bolstered by additional means. We are addressing that. On Tuesday afternoon, yesterday, we had engineers from Trans Systems, a company which was selected by Lancaster County to design their new prison, brought on site. They are developing proposals for the prison board to fully enclose all outside exercise yards. While we believe the security measures we had in place were sufficient, they've proven otherwise, and we move quickly to enhance our security measures. Finally, I'd like to cover the human element of the escape. One key difference in the escape by Igor Bolte as compared with the escape of Cavacante is the role of the tower officer, whose primary responsibility is to oversee the inmates in the exercise yard. In Bolte's escape, the tower officer observed the subject leaving the yard area and contacted control immediately. That is why Bolte was apprehended within 5 minutes. In the escape of Cavacante, the tower officer did not observe nor report the escape. The escape was discovered as part of the inmate counts that occurs when inmates come in from the exercise yard. As I previously noted, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office will be conducting a thorough criminal investigation into the escape, which includes this element of the incident. This investigation is both necessary and welcome. The action of the tower officer present at the time of Cavacante's escape are a key part of our internal investigation, and we'll be taking appropriate action against personnel based on the results of that investigation. Here is the timeline of the events. At 8:33 a.m., Cavacante's block entered the exercise yard. At 8:51 a.m., Cavacante escapes from the prison, having crab walked up a wall, push his way through a razor wire, run across the roof, scale another fence, and push his way through more razor wire. At 9:35 a.m., Cavacante's block returned to the unit from the yard. At 9:45 a.m., officers on Cavacante's block notify Central Control of a missing inmate, and they conduct a special count. At 9:48 a.m., officers informed Central Control that Cavacante was not there. There was a belief that he may have been in a phone visiting room, which was checked with negative results. At 9:50 a.m., the prison was locked down and the special count was conducted. By 10:01 a.m., the public escape siren had sounded and the 911 center had been notified. Just as we do in any security-related incident, we will thoroughly review all of our practices, policies, and procedures and make improvements as appropriate. We are currently formulating plans to enhance security to include, as previously mentioned, fully enclosing all outside exercise yards, installing additional security cameras, adjusting officers' positions when inmates are in exercise yards, and additional security assets which would enhance overall security of the prison. As I close, I would definitely like to thank my local, federal, state, and law enforcement representatives who quickly responded to the scene once the escape was there. I know they have been diligently working to take Mr. Cavacante back into custody, and we are very appreciative of their efforts. At this time, due to the nature of the investigations that are ongoing, I cannot comment on any individual investigation, including the internal investigations. With that, I'd like to turn it over back to Colonel Bivens. So, I'm not sure where...
Do you have the video before I start?
I'm so glad we discussed all this before this conference, because we literally went over all this, and now they're going to show that video we talked about that they obviously have, and here it is. I wish they would zoom in. I mean, we could. It's gone. They'll put it on Facebook after, don't worry. Usually they do.
Thank you, Warden Holland. I'll go on with my update, and again, we'll come back to questions momentarily. Last evening, we had another sighting of Cavacante by a resident in the area of Chandler Road, Pennsbury Township. Teams searched the area for hours, but were unable to locate him. An issue we did experience during that search illustrates some of the challenges our people are dealing with. In spite of precautions, one of our tactical search dogs suffered a heat-related and emergency and remains hospitalized today. We are hopeful that he will eventually make a full recovery. As a result of that reported sighting, residents likely observed a significant increase in police activity. We did have a reverse 911 message sent out during the incident in an effort to inform residents of the issue. Additionally, as a result of that activity, we slightly expanded the eastern edge of our perimeter to include Creek Road. The district attorney and I have continued a regular dialogue with school districts in the area, updating them with changes in our operations that might impact schools. As this operation unfolded late last night, the Unionville, Chadds Ford, and Kennett Consolidated School Districts made a decision to close schools. We continue to use hundreds of state, local, and federal law enforcement officers, canines, aviation assets, and various types of technology in an effort to keep the community safe and to bring this to as swift of a conclusion as possible. Excuse me. We continue to increase the number of personnel assigned as conditions dictate. Residents can expect to continue to see large numbers of law enforcement officers in their communities and traveling to and from assigned locations. We continue to ask for the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavacante, to check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen Cavacante. Again, we ask residents to please secure homes, outbuildings, and vehicles. Cavacante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more. It is important that we keep pressure on him as we continue the hunt. I am also announcing that Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers has offered up to a $10,000 reward for information leading to the capture of Cavacante. This brings the reward total to $20,000. Anyone with information is asked to call our tip line at 717-562-2987, 717-562-2987. Lastly, I want to recognize and thank the community for all of their support through this trying time in their lives. I and all of us working this manhunt understand the tremendous stress this puts on families and even businesses. In spite of that stress, and unsolicited, We have had individuals, businesses, scouting, church, and other organizations show up at our command post with cases of water, food, and well wishes for all of our people. They are very kind, and I can't thank them enough for their support. And now, we will be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Lieutenant Colonel, do you think he has more ability to hide from you than you thought he did when this thing started, since it's 7 days now?
No, I don't think he has any more ability than we initially gave him credit for. I think that it's a very challenging area. I think we've had a number of these types of searches in the past. Some take hours, some take days, some take weeks, and some take months. We're committed to the search, and we will find him. We will bring him back and into the criminal justice system.
The DA or the acting warden, you guys had access to this video. You saw this. Why did it take so long to alert the public of how he escaped?
You said this for the warden?
DA or the acting warden?
Well, I can address that. That matter was referred to the Attorney General's office immediately. We are engaged in a thorough investigation. As I've stated before, our main focus is bringing this man to custody. We were putting all of our efforts to try to locate him. There was a simultaneous investigation into the prison escape, and today was the day that we believed we needed to bring in the acting warden to address the public about how he escaped.
What you knew ahead of time, you still didn't want to release that information to the public.
Is the Attorney General's investigation supplanting the Chester County District Detective's investigation?
That's correct.
How is it possible that this person was able to take the same escape route as someone just months previous?
And will someone else be able to take it?
To prevent that? Obviously, someone didn't do their job in instituting those names.
So as I said earlier, according to the document, we did have a consulting firm come out, identify how that individual escaped, and we thought we took appropriate measures to prevent that with the razor wire. Again, the one thing we didn't take into account was a failure on the human element side. We only focused on the physical infrastructure and not necessarily the human element.
So was there nobody
did the guard fail,
was there
or was he just not
nobody in
doing
the
his job?
tower? Was there no one in the tower? Is that why you didn't get the call, or was he asleep?
Someone was in the tower at the time.
Should the person in the tower have seen him leave?
The position of the towers are for observation posts, which overlook the yards.
Lieutenant Colonel Bivens, sir, does he have...
Just 1 minute.
I'm hearing from state police, local law enforcement, and marshals that you guys have multiple channels. Last night I witnessed this. There was an officer from Kennett Square. There was activity. That officer didn't hear anything. He asked the trooper what's going on. They said, we're on a different channel.
That's Nick
he
the
was
Hat.
left in the dark, and I'm hearing now from, it was at least 12 officers in the past 6 days that told me
Sounds
they
like
are
it.
not able to communicate in concert with you guys. Are there multiple channels that you guys are operating?
No, I would have to look into that specific concern, and I'd be happy to do that. Maybe we can talk afterward, and you can supply me a name that we can look into it.
Okay.
What I would tell you is that we've spent a lot of time and effort making sure that we do have solid communications. We've got a lot of agencies working there. Most have representation in our command post, and we would know immediately if we had a communication issue. So if there is something that's isolated to a certain agency or something, we'd certainly want to take a look at that, but that's not a widespread concern.
Has he obtained a weapon, and if so, what kind of weapon do you think he has?
We have not determined that he has obtained a weapon.
When was the consultant brought in, and what was the name of the consultant again?
So I don't have the exact date nor name of the consulting firm.
Why?
I can get that for you.
Lieutenant Colonel Bivens, is any infrared or heat-seeking device used to track him, at least at night?
There are a number of types of technology. I think it's certainly reasonable to believe something like that would be included in the array of technology that we would bring to bear.
Hold on. In the Igor Bolt case, the inmates were distracting the guard. There was a fight on the basketball court is what the criminal complaint says. In this case, too, we had heard that there was also some sort of group of inmates or a line of inmates on that yard. Is that obstructing, or is it just that the inmates also figured out how to do this as well? So what is being taken to address that concern that you have an inmate standing there in that video? Is that guy a lookout? Are they all talking about how to do this? What are you doing there on the human side with the inmates to make sure nobody tries this again?
So as I said, for the investigation of how or why this occurred, including the investigation and questioning of the inmates that were there, that's done by the Attorney General's office. So I don't have the exact answer. Moreover, as we develop information into this, we are certainly going to look at what the actions of that tower officer were, why he did observe what was occurring in that yard. I'm not sure as to how or why didn't address it at this point.
Why not share that video early on if you knew how he escaped? That's the question that everyone had.
Again, as part of the investigation.
Can you step up a little bit?
Certainly, I'm sorry. As part of the investigation, that would have been up to the Attorney General's office to release that and when it was to be released. At this point, we thought it was prudent and had permission to release it.
Is the general still on duty or is he suspended?
Is he still working?
He is on administrative leave.
This is for the district attorney or the warden. Can you confirm or deny that the escapee had a map of the area that was hand-drawn detailing the route from the prison to the Chester County Courthouse? Is that anything or is that a rumor?
No, I have no evidence to suggest they did a map of the area.
About the warden, have you heard anything?
I did not.
This individual was listed as an escape risk. This was known that he was looking to do something like this prior. Why was he, and also, he's here on a murder charge, he's being held here waiting to be sent to state prison. He knows he's wanted in Brazil. Why is he roaming around the yard like this and not in a more secure location? And is that something you'll do as the administrator of the prison later, is to reevaluate how high-risk offenders have free access around the prison?
So to answer your question, we will certainly reevaluate how we're handling inmates of that level, especially murder suspects. But we also have to understand that these individuals have certain rights. So it's not a question of would we let him out again. It's certainly a question of would I put him back out there with a group of other individuals, or there would be a one-on-one, and it would be a one-on-one from this point out.
Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route?
Fully enclosed.
Do you believe the Brandywine Creek is a possible escape route? Officers are monitoring it on Route 1.
I would say that we are open to anything being a possibility as far as an escape route, and we're actively working to keep that area secure. I wouldn't comment on the viability of one versus another escape route.
Do you think he's out of your perimeter?
I do not.
He's flipped your perimeter?
I do not.
What makes you believe that?
Everything that I'm able to see, the various sightings that we've had, other aspects of this investigation lead me to believe that he is still there in that area.
Can you describe the boundaries of that perimeter that you believe he is there?
Sure. So on the northern end, Route 921, on the east,
921 or 926?
I'm sorry, 926. On the eastern side, 100 or Creek Road. On the southern side, Hillendale. And on the western side, 52.
How big is this compared to what your perimeter was in days past?
What's the square mileage of roughly?
Offhand, I don't know what the square mileage is. It is slightly larger than the perimeter that we had in the past. Quite frankly, it was enlarged for two reasons. One, because of one of the sightings, and two, because we are also very cognizant of inconveniencing the public. Quite frankly, we probably could have kept that southern perimeter a little further north, but we probably would have interfered with traffic on Route 1 and would have caused even more headaches for local residents and those passing through as well. And so we took the option that we believe is equally secure and yet doesn't inconvenience residents nearly as much.
Cavacante was in custody since 2021. He would have been in jail at the same time as Igor Bolte. Is there any indication that the two of them had any contact?
We have no information at this time connecting that, but again, that is not up for me to determine. It's up for the Attorney General's office on the investigation.
Would you have chosen to share this information today had the similarities between Igor Bolte's release not been made public?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Would you have chosen to share the details of Cavalcante's escape and the similarities to Igor's had the information not come to light yesterday?
So I don't really think it's a decision of me releasing. I think it was appropriate with the coordination of the Attorney General's office to release it when they deemed appropriate. So that's why we're here.
Lieutenant Colonel, is lethal force authorized only in the perimeter, or is it authorized statewide in the next state if he does not surrender clearly to...
I have no authority in the next state. I have authority in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania State Police.
Is it statewide lethal force if he's seen anywhere in the state, or is it around?
No, the directive pertains to this particular search.
And the backpack, or the sighting today that was reported, I believe, by Fox 29, where he might have been getting into a dark green car, did that come to any fruition, or is that?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
There was a dispatch this morning that said that an individual with a backpack matching the description, the escapee got into a dark green car.
No, that was not related to this.
Warden Holland, is the photo of Mr. Cavalcante that we see here, was that taken just before the escape?
I believe it was, yes, sir.
Are you getting a lot of sightings throughout the region outside the perimeter, other parts of Chester County, other counties where people are thinking that they're seeing him? And what kind of stress does that put on your resources?
We are not getting a lot of sightings outside of the perimeter. In fact, very few. They are being fully investigated. Nothing has led me to believe that any of them were actually him. And we have the ability to do this operation and follow up outside of the area as well.
Any idea where he thinks he might be trying to get to?
I do have some ideas of where he thinks he might be trying to get to, but I'm not prepared to discuss
You said
that.
last week that he's trying to head south.
In the area?
You said last week you think he's trying to head south, maybe to Mexico or Brazil. Do you still believe him?
I believe he's trying to head south. In terms of his final destination, again, I'm not prepared to discuss
Are
that.
family members cooperating, or has it been determined that they may have aided?
We're not going to discuss any parts of the investigation involving the family.
Just wanted to ask about the, if you could take it back to the escape. Could you give an approximate width from one wall to the next?
So I would say approximately maybe 5 feet, maybe less.
Acting Warden, you said you're looking to fully enclose the yard.
Yes, sir.
What does that means that there's not a fence around it already? Can you explain?
So the yards are block wall with an exterior fence with an open top. Along that line are razor wires so someone physically can't climb the fence. Moreover, there's a smaller mesh fence on the second half, so the fence is probably 10 to 15 feet high. What the proposal is actually to cap that whole thing in basically like as a cage so no one can physically climb out.
All the way from the fence to the building?
All the way to, and all 8 yards that we have.
You reviewing any other video that shows him practicing this? I mean, did he just boldly do this on a whim, figuring out that he could go up this wall?
So we have no supportive evidence as far as video that shows him trying to do this, no other inference of him attempting it from any other inmate.
Which yard is this? Is this yard A, yard B, yard C? You said 8 yards.
So this is C yard.
You talked about the control tower and there being a guard in there that did not observe the escape. Is there any corrections officer that is physically present with the inmates when they're in that recreation area? And if not, why not?
So there's physically no correctional officer in with the inmates. For the observation tower, it's to observe the inmates, one, obviously, for any type of injury, any type of fight that's gone away, and any escape attempt.
Why wouldn't there be someone just outside there, not inside?
So typically, the other thing we have is a video monitor in that area. So we don't put 2 staff in there. As part of the upgraded system that we're putting in, we are putting additional personnel not only in the tower but on the ground to observe anybody in the yard.
Assistant Warden, was nobody monitoring this camera that you showed us that had the video of him crab walking up?
So we have approximately 160 cameras at any one time that's monitored all over the facility, also inside to control door movements to see who's coming and going. So with the time it took him to go up, and we all saw the video, it wasn't very long. So in that instance, if it wasn't observed and the camera didn't pick it up because either we weren't focused on that or we were focused on other things, it's feasible that, we didn't see it because we just weren't focused on it.
Do you have a full complement of corrections officers working on the day of the escape, or were there posts that were vacant?
There were no posts that were vacant that day.
Lieutenant Colonel, you've said that you think he's heading south, Lieutenant Colonel, but you've also said you do have an idea where you think he's heading, but you won't tell us that. But you do believe he's heading south, so you believe that he has more specific goals in mind that are closer to this location that he might be heading
Yes,
to?
my reference to heading south is more so in our area that we're searching. What his final destination and the pathway to get there, I have some ideas, but again, I'm not prepared to share those at this point.
But is he going east? I mean, he went from Longwood Gardens now to Chandler Road. That's east, not south.
Yes.
So why do you think he's going south?
Again, I'm not going to theorize or share theories in here, but yes, there was one sighting east.
Can you tell us more about the sighting? What was he doing? What did it look like?
And who spotted it?
It was a resident of the area that observed him in a creek bed near the rear of their property and called us. He was already traveling into the woods when that individual called us.
Does he have family or friends in this area?
He has some family and some associates, and in the general area.
Is there anything to indicate?
Again, I'm not going to.
Lieutenant, is there anything that he's lost?
I guess we'll know that when we find him and interview him for sure. I do suspect he's probably having trouble navigating.
Have you discovered any items he may have used?
We have not recovered anything from him out in the field. We have discovered through the photograph that you saw that he has a backpack, a duffel bag, and a hoodie, but we have not recovered any of those items.
There were items found yesterday by some troopers. Any relation to him or anybody else that was out there? So, wallet, phone, anything like that?
Items that have been recovered are being tested, but I don't have anything to confirm that any item we have discovered.
Can you tell us what this search actually looks like? Are you literally beating bushes? Is it mostly electronic? Is it driving? Are you putting up cameras? What does this look like?
Well, again, I'm not going to describe every step of it because in the event that he does have access to media, I certainly wouldn't want to disclose all of that. I would tell you it's some of all of the above. It is a very intensive search involving hundreds of law enforcement officers, involving state-of-the-art technology, but we are not sitting in a room someplace waiting for technology to solve this. In my experience, it'll be solved one of a number of ways, and so you've got to approach it with the physical searches. And so when I mentioned about the dog going down last night, that's because our people are out there, hundreds of them last night, pushing through the woods, holding perimeters, checking on possible sightings. But it's very hot, humid weather, and they are working in that around the clock in order to keep the pressure on. That's part of that side of it. At the same time, there is a strong use of technology of a variety of types to allow us to try and capture him that way, should we not be successful in finding him through the physical search.
The canine officer, what department is the canine officer from?
State Police.
When you play his mother's message, what does it say?
I'm paraphrasing, but it's asking him to surrender. She doesn't want to see any harm come to him, and she wants him to come out peacefully and surrender to the police.
Is it always the same message?
Yes.
Residents are
No. We don't have her approval to do that.
Residents are wondering, at any point, will you slow down the, or back off of the manhunt? Whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, will you keep a large presence, an active manhunt with the manpower you have until he's captured?
We are not going anyplace until we have him in custody. We will continue the manhunt.
The city festival planned this weekend in Kennett Square. Are you in conversations with organizers in case he's not caught by then?
Yes, we are aware of that. We're in contact with emergency management, law enforcement authorities to make sure that we don't have any additional concerns there. And at this point, there's no reason to believe that that festival would be impacted by this search.
Is there any indication that he's had a phone or any communication device, has or had at any point during this?
I'm not prepared to discuss that aspect at this
Question
point.
for the warden, please.
Interesting answer.
Did Cavacante have any sort of disciplinary record, any infractions that you can share with us while an inmate at the prison?
To be honest with you, not that I'm aware of. Like as I walked into this thing 18 hours onto the job, I haven't gathered all his back history. I had a deputy warden put that all together and get it ready for the detectives to look at.
Was he living legally here, and was he working before he killed his ex-girlfriend?
He was not legally here, and I can't answer the working part.
Lieutenant Colonel, you think you're wearing him down in any way? There is at least this conversation out there that because he's sort of emanating from Brazil, that maybe he is comfortable in hot settings, that he's comfortable in this kind of environment. Do you have any sense you're wearing him down? He seems like he's pretty elusive here.
I'm quite confident that we're wearing him down, regardless of the location, the background that a person comes from. These are hot, humid temperatures. He's not living in shelter, has no regular means of obtaining food other than if he's able to break in someplace or find something, scavenge something. So it's a difficult existence out there for somebody that's trying to do this. That will definitely take its toll. I would also add that it's hard enough as one of the law enforcement officers out there, it's hard enough for them navigating in this terrain, in this hot, humid weather. But imagine if you're being hunted. It adds a whole different level of stress as opposed to you're out there trying to find somebody. That level of stress has to be wearing on him.
Have you searched local railroads, railroad tracks, trains passing through? There's some video that indicates you have
Yes.
been doing that. If so, what has that yielded? Anything?
It has not, but what we are attempting to do again is keep that secure perimeter and ensure that he does not have an opportunity to escape on a train.
Given the condition of the canine, does he face charges in connection to the...
No, there was no mishandling of the dog. They were monitoring the dog's temperature and they realized it started to elevate. Unfortunately, and they sought medical treatment for the dog immediately. Unfortunately, the dog's condition continued to worsen even with medical treatment until he was eventually stabilized, and now I'm told is doing somewhat better. We'll have to wait and see what the final outcome is.
How many reports of thefts or break-ins you've had since the escape?
We have had a number. I'm not going to put a number on it, but a small number of break-ins reported. I cannot specifically attribute any of those to him.
Does Cavacante have any history of survivalism, or do you know that he has any specific skills related to his current status? Like, he's out of the woods?
He's not had any formal training. I am aware that, again, coming from Brazil, that some of his practices, he did go out quite a bit into the woods and things down there. So has some experience navigating and lasting in the woods, but not any serious formal training.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like since the escape, there's been several sightings. Out of all the hundreds of officers that you have out there looking for him now, he's only been spotted by a law enforcement officer one time. The one time he was seen and the officer gave chase. Is that accurate?
I would have to go back and review it. That's probably accurate. I off the top of my head, I'm not. I'd have to look at each one of the sightings, but I believe that's probably accurate.
Apologies that this was asked already, but is there any indication he's receiving help from anyone?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not going to disclose that, but that is something that we are constantly looking at. Even if he hadn't received it to this point, there's always a concern that he will start to receive it, and so that's something we're constantly looking at.
I know you said the search perimeter in terms of roads. I'm just unfamiliar with the township lines. Do we think that that's East Bradford or East Brandywine there, that is that all encompassed in that township area, or is it all Wisconsin Township as your search?
No, it's moved over into, is that Pensbury? Yeah.
Pensbury?
Yes.
Has a decision been made or advised schools about tomorrow and Friday yet?
We will be having a discussion with the superintendents, I'm sure, at some point yet today. That has not occurred. What I would tell you is that those discussions are intended to give the superintendents as much information as possible so that they can make an informed decision. At some point, that information also changes, as it did last night, and that necessitated another call. So, we'll provide them an update, and then we will give them anything else that may develop.
Question for the warden. When somebody's sentenced to life in prison, are they treated differently than other people in the facility? Once you've taken everything you can from them, are you more on alert for that person?
So I can tell you that they have the same rights as everybody else, but given this complication of what happened, we are certainly going to revisit how we're handling that in the future, as far as one-on-one in the yard versus going out with a bunch of different individuals.
So just so we're clear, Acting Warden, you're going to be adding an extra officer in the tower to join the one that's already in the observation tower?
No, for a point of clarification, we will have one person in the tower and physically somebody on the ground walking the yard.
Any additional people who are to monitor those video feeds?
So we haven't at this time established who is going to monitor inside specifically video feeds from the yard, but I can tell you we are certainly taking that and revisiting and completely how we're handling all that video visualization to make sure that we're not missing things.
As Deanna mentioned, there was a little bit of commotion that you could see in that video with one of the gentlemen who was shirtless running away from where Cavacante was climbing up. Do you think that there was a distraction in place at that time to possibly throw off the officer that was in the observation tower?
So I can't comment as to what people were doing or why. I can tell you at that time, for recreational activity, there was a basketball net in that area, and there was an active basketball game going on, so I'm going to assume at this point that he was involved in that game.
At the time of the escape, how many people were watching the monitors? And how many monitors are there?
For security reasons, I'm not going to develop how many monitors we have and how many people we have viewing it.
Does Cavalcante speak both English and Spanish? Or Portuguese?
Portuguese and some Spanish, very little English.
Very little English. The next follow-up question is, what percentage of inmates at Chester County Prison speak only Portuguese or Spanish? Or
I don't have the breakdown of demographics as far as who speaks what language, and because we don't sector them off based on their language or what languages they speak.
Is there a policy on cell phone use when guards are on duty? Are they allowed to have them out? Or are they allowed to...
There are no cell phones allowed inside the prison area at all.
And as far as we were talking about that dome structure that you guys are planning on, when can we see that actually in place?
So yesterday we actually met with the contractors. It has been going to be forwarded to the commissioners for their review for possible acquisition and installation.
Was it not obvious that that should have been something in place before?
So I really don't want to get into what should have happened prior to without me actually being in charge of that facility. So I can't really question as to why it was or wasn't there.
Had it come up in security assessments previously?
I'm not sure if that's true or not.
All right, I want to thank you all, and again, we appreciate your help in getting this message out, keeping this front and center with the public. We need their support, and we appreciate your role in bringing that support. Thank you.
They're like, can you play the video one more time? They're like, I'm out. I'm heading out. Damn, okay. Whoa. So, that was the press conference. Wow. Now it's $20,000 reward. I'm sure you guys caught that. We'll go over some of the notes quickly here. I just quickly want to... I've been struggling to put the chat on the screen. I think it's because the chat's so fast. What I've got going on here is not working out. So just hold on one second. I just want to see if I can get it going again. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. I'm reading it all as it's going, and I'm like, what? There was a basketball game going on. Same as when Bolte escaped. Wow, that's the new warden. Yes, Alyssa. He only started the job on the Friday, the day after Cavacante escaped. So yes, that's what we have there. Just hold on one second. We want this. That one. Okay. Let's see if I can put a message up. I really hope so. Okay, let's try one. So let me just resize it. It's a bit small. There we go. He found a treehouse and he's living in there now. Oh my word. Wow. So I'll make myself big in a moment to just quickly look at this. So much to discuss. Wow, what a press conference. I'm glad finally the prison warden was there, and the acting one. And I'm glad we discussed all that stuff before the time. So you guys, if you were there from before the press conference started, huh? We were briefed, right? We were ready. Okay, so this was a press conference on September 6th of 2023. Double check my date. Yes, okay. So the prison warden, the acting one, spoke first, and they talked about that escape. We talked about Bolt. If you missed it, maybe I should just show you so that you know what the hell I'm talking about. And we went over exactly how he escaped as well. So just wait for this next slide. There we go. This guy. 2 days ago or so, 2 or 3 days ago, one of the new Grizzlies, new subscriber, actually sent me this. And this is a picture from their ring cam from their backyard. You can see the date there is the 19th of May. And they basically called the prison and called the police to say, there's an inmate standing in our backyard. So this is the guy they talked about, Bolt, okay, who escaped in May. And Cavacante escaped the exact same way. My audio is on max. I can't turn it up more. Remember, the press conference was boosted. Okay? The press conference was boosted. So now your ears need to get used to me again. So I do that on purpose with the press conference so we can really hear like exactly what's going on. So then, okay, Bolt escaped while there was a basketball game going on. That's what they talked about. And then did the exact same thing. Climbed up a fence. They just didn't have the barbed wire, it sounds like. Got on a roof, ran, and then someone from the tower saw him run. That's Bolt, this guy. Cavacante escaped the same way, except that this time they had barbed wire. So this 5 foot, 120-pound man went for a deep dive through that barbed wire, ran across the roof, and ran. And whoever was in the tower either didn't notice or there's a criminal investigation. Don't know what we're supposed to read into that. Like, did they help him? Did they look away for a second? What were they doing? Were they napping? What were they doing? There's a whole investigation going on because the person in the tower missed it. Was not looking. Now they're going to have someone in the tower and someone on the ground. That's so scary for the person on the ground. Right? Imagine how if you're down there with all on the ground with all the inmates while they're playing basketball and doing all sorts. Wow, shame. I hope they pay that person a lot because that's danger pay, you know. So yes, this all happened from the exercise area. That's where Bolte escaped from. That's where Cavacante escaped from. And I think all the questions are so valid because what have they done now? One in the tower, one on the ground, and what else? You better cage that because otherwise we'll have another one. We'll have another one escaping. See, I don't like denial. They can't be like, everything will be fine. I don't know, man. Better reinforce it now because otherwise you're going to have more of them escaping. So they said there's a criminal element of the escape. And I believe there was a slip of the tongue where the warden said escape yard. Oh, what a slip. Oh, shame. Escape yard. It's an exercise yard, but okay. Anyway, I think it's also social media and public pressure. Right? That would be us and Nick, I think. We were the two initially covering it, right? Talking about this escape. That they're like, fine. We'll bring the prison warden. We're going to talk about this now because people are talking about this on social media and the Inquirer released articles on it now. Oh, yes. So they talked about it at 8:33 a.m. Cavalcante entered the prison yard. Let me find that picture for you. That picture. At 8:33 a.m., he enters the exercise yard. At 8:51 a.m., he's going through that razor wire. Oh, damn. And then around 9:45 a.m., the notifications went out, and at 10 a.m., they said the 911 center was notified. Right, but actually they said the sirens only went off at noon, so even that wasn't so great. Marlene Stewart said, as a retired correctional professional, there's no excuse for 2 escapes in 3 months. As far as CO on the ground with the inmates, this is SOP. Chester County Jail should not have their yard this easy, right? Wow. I think the chat's flying so fast I can't put some of the comments on the screen. Then YouTube glitches out. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much to everyone who bought stickers during the press conference. I was typing to you. Thank you so much. I was just unable to put it on the screen. Okay. So then they talked about this Chandler Road sighting. Remember, we talked about this before the press conference. Over here, I was telling you that initially on the scanner, it was about some lady that saw the father of her children there on Chandler Road on camera. That was taken out of context at the time. But they did talk about now Chandler Road, so it must have been later as well, because there was a lot of activity there. Fox 29 was there, boots on the ground streaming from the area, and so there was a lot of activity at Chandler Road yesterday, and then they also went eastward to that Creek Road area, and they said they were unable to locate him. One of the search dogs struggled with, they had like a heat-related medical problems, and they were taken to a doggy hospital, and I hope that they will be okay. Shame. So yes, they want a swift conclusion to this. Yeah, we all do. But then they also talk about this could take months, and I'm like, no. We'll have a look. You said, what is south that the cop thinks he's headed to? We'll have a look in a moment. They said there's large numbers of law enforcement officers, and they're going to stay on it for as long as they need to until the guy's caught. They know that he's got clothing, okay, but they don't know what other clothing and unknown supplies. You remember that whole thing we did of what we don't know? That's the point. What don't we know? Yeah, what we don't know. What else does he have? What kind of weapon could he have at this point? So, they also said we've had a number of these in the past, so sometimes they take days, weeks, or months, and I'm like, there really shouldn't be a number of these from the past, right? Really need to tighten those prison walls up. Wow. They also said that now the Pennsylvania Crime Stoppers is donating $10,000, so now the total reward is $20,000. I really hope that they update the flyer. that it says nice in red, $20,000 reward, not up to $5,000 with this tiny print plus another 5 from Chester County and another 10. No, just make it big in red, $20,000, right? So then they said, yeah, someone was in the tower at the time. They talked about if someone asked if there's heat-seeking thermal imagery technology being used, and they said there's a number of types of technology, and then they're sure that's being used as well. The person who was in the tower is on administrative leave. Interestingly, on the Thursday, on the day that Cavacante escaped, the prison warden was asked to resign. That's interesting. They worded it initially as administrative leave, but so there's that as well. Okay, so they're actively working to keep the area secure. They believe he's still in the area. So they talked about this. Let's just put this back on. The perimeter is Route 926 on the northern end. Where's 926 now? There's 52. They talked about that. Hillendale. Hillendale's the southern end. So maybe... Can I drag this here? There. Okay. Hillendale. Where's 926? Oh, here. Okay. So the perimeter now, what they described was... Sorry, I can zoom out a bit. 926 on the northern end. Creek Road. So it would actually be... I wonder if I could... It's this one. 926 Creek Road on the eastern end. Hillendale on the southern end. And 52, Route 52 on this side. So it'd be through here. It's a little bit smaller than the area I have now, but that's the area that they believe he's still in and are focusing on. Peter Pranzo says, lots of retirements coming. Right? So they're still looking in that perimeter, and they still believe he's in that area. Okay? They said... why did I write cameras? 160 cameras monitored. They have 160 cameras that are monitored at the Chester County Prison. And yet that they said it was so quick, when he got up that wall that someone may have missed it. Well, whoa. With all those cameras, better pay attention, right? No posts were vacant that day. He was spotted yesterday around this Creek Road area. Someone saw him in the creek bed at the rear of their property and called it in. Then they talked about family and associates in the general area. Now see, family and associates, is it gang associates or who? Inmates that have been released. Family and associates. And his trial had just happened. He was just sentenced on August 22nd of 2023. So maybe, we don't know, we got to see which of his family members were in the courtroom or associates were there at the trial. Family and associates. Hopefully not an attorney. You just never know who's helping him. I'm starting to think somebody has helped him as well. Okay, so they say, what was interesting, if he has a phone, the question was, do you think he has a phone or device at this point? And the police chief said, I'm not prepared to discuss that at this time. I'm like, instead of just saying no, it's just like, I'm not prepared to. Oh, so you think he's got a phone? Or is he hanging outside? Is he lurking inside of houses listening to the true crime coverage? But he may have a phone. There's contraband in prisons, even though they say there are no phones allowed in the prison area. Well, there's contraband. He might have a phone. Okay, so that was interesting. They can't answer about the working that he was doing. I'm not sure that he was working. He is an illegal immigrant. He's a convicted killer. He's not a suspect. This guy is not like, innocent till proven. He is guilty. He was found unanimously guilty. He's a murderer, okay? He murdered Deborah Brandoa in April of 2021. And the trial was just completed. He was just sentenced. So scary, oh my word. They said there were a number of break-ins reported, but they can't definitively say it was him. But the whole flicking of the light switch thing, remember that? Ooh, he entered someone's home. They thought, oh crap, he's in the home. There's someone downstairs. So the homeowner turned the light switch on and off 5 times. And then you know what? The person downstairs did the exact same thing, which is very interesting. Victoria said, I'm just so impressed with you, G. Snarky when necessary and maintaining your boundaries. Oh, thank you, Victoria. That's what we'll have to do, right? Thank you so much. Andrew said, did you see the video of him Spider-Man out of jail? Yes. We saw it. I'm hoping that while chatting now, they're uploading it to Facebook so that we can actually see it instead of on a projector screen, right? So they said he has no formal training, but does have experience lasting in the woods. Now, I don't know what the hell that means. Did he like watching Bear Grylls or what? Was he in survival camp? Was he in... Did he actually go to that, you know, the military or what? But they said no formal training. Okay. So they talked about the active basketball game and all that. Yes, sure. They're not sure who else he spoke to, so we've got that. Wow. What a day. Okay. So now again, the chat is acting up. Sorry about that. Sure. So this is day 7. Day 7, right? Thank you. TT. I wanted to quickly also go through a few things here. Let's just see this quickly. This is what we know about Cavacante. Okay, wait 1 second. There were a few interesting little bits from these Philadelphia Inquirer articles. Is this one also? Oh, that's the Inquirer. This one's Philadelphia Inquirer. There are a few other little details here, so just hold on 1 second. Let's put the presentation off. And actually... Wait, I just want to see Brando. Okay, yeah. So here's about the crime in April of 2021. Audrey said he's bound to be eaten up by mosquitoes. I know, right? Unless he knows how to, I don't know what he's got. Is he stealing lemons? Garlic? Did he steal some garlic so the mosquitoes stay away from him? So yeah, they said Cavacante kept in touch with Brando. That's the lady he killed in April of 2021 in front of her children. Even after the order, texting her frequently according to evidence presented at trial. Brando eventually told him to leave her alone, threatening to tell police about his active warrant in Brazil if he didn't. The day after, Cavalcante drove to her home to confront her, police said. There, he got into an argument in Brando's front yard as the two children were playing nearby. During the argument, Cavalcante yanked Brando by her hair. Okay, trigger warning, everyone. Talking about DV, and this escalated to murder. Coercive control, domestic violence, stalking, harassment, and eventually murder. Wow. So... They said Cavalcante yanked Brando and by her hair and threw her to the ground, according to Brando's 9-year-old daughter who testified during the trial. I don't know if that trial was televised. I haven't found it yet. If you find it, let me know, okay? Send it to me. He then began to stab her repeatedly with a kitchen knife he had brought from his home as her daughter screamed for him to stop and threw a rock at him. Cavalcante stabbed Brando more than 30 times in her neck, chest, and back, according to prosecutors. She was later pronounced dead at Paoli Hospital. At the time of Cavalcante's arrest, Ryan called Brando's murder a cold-blooded, premeditated, and despicable act. So we've got that. Oh, thank you. There's probably, okay, thank you. Tim Rogers. Okay, great. We'll show the video in a moment as well. Let's just quickly go. So there was just a few more details here. I'll link the article for you so you can read it yourself if you wanted to. Now here is an article that was sent to me. Thank you so much. I think it was Barbara that sent it to me. Thank you so much to the person who sent me this. What lies beneath a deeper look into the engineering marvel? So they're basically talking here about these underground tunnels. I won't read all of it, but I'm going to link this for you if you want to read it. It's just about the theory we had that there's actually, if he starts accessing the underground tunnels in that area, ooh, that's going to make it even harder to find him, right? Okay. So, geothermal systems. So I don't want to take too long with this. Fountain systems, lighting. I'm just going to link it. I'm showing it to you, and I'm going to link it so you can read it yourself. Okay, ReadyChesco, we know about that. Then I'm going to show you that video now. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, we've looked at everything there. Okay, so let's go here. And this said, breaking newly released video footage shows Danelo Cavalcante. Whoa, look at him go. Damn, okay. Okay, here we're seeing it. Thank you to Nick the Hat for uploading this already. He is on X, or previously known as Twitter, and he did say earlier that he wants to go to the presser and he wants to ask questions about, did this guy have a map in his cell, which again, we're thinking alike, like, did he have a map before? Did he research this area? What's going on? Okay, and so Gracie said there are underground tunnels from slavery. Okay. Catherine said, I suspect that the incident with the flicker lights is suspicious, a way for both to say all is well. At that time, he could have loaded the backpack, but the person only told police about the fruit. Interesting. Maybe they was just really, really scared and stayed upstairs, right? Abela said, move over, cops, let Grizzly's in G. Grizzly's in with G at our head. We'll find him in 5 minutes. Okay, no. We gotta keep our egos in check, everybody. But imagine if all of us could head out there. We gotta stay so safe. But, like, I really just hope they find him. No one's saying we're better than the police. No. I think we're just passionate, right? That's what we're saying. It's just like, get him. Now, let's watch this, okay? So this other dude is standing right here. Now, see, he's got tattoos. Why the hell does Cavacante, if he's a former gang member, have no tattoos? What kind of gang were you in? Anyway, so this one, they're playing basketball, apparently. Now, watch this. Watch him do this now. Here we go. No, I gotta zoom out again. Hold on. We're gonna get this full view here now. Look at this guy. Acting so damn shady. Looking straight at the camera. We're watching you, Cavacante. Look at this guy. This is what he's wearing when he's out there. Oh my word. Look how he's like... That's a bombastic side eye there. He's looking very, very shady. Obviously. He's like about it. I don't know why his arms aren't all like cut and stuff either. He's going through barbed wire. Wow. Okay, so let's continue on. Look at it. Sheesh. And then it goes out of view. I'll make it as high as possible. Hold on. Even what a silly building structure for them to be able to do this. It's not very hard. Okay. Wow. Did you see that? I just want to see this other guy again. Let's go like this. Sorry, I'm resizing. I shouldn't say sorry. I'm resizing it so we can see everything. Now I'm going to show you a wide view of it because I want to see what this other guy does. Okay? Here we go. We're going to look at it again. This guy. This one definitely seems like a bit of a lookout, huh? Not? I mean, he's got his shirt off. He's ready playing basketball. This guy's ready to leave. Caroline says, this is where we do a GoFundMe to buy trained search bearers who wear Grizzly true crime hats as they search. Right? Yeah, and lol, tattoos. What kind of gang were you in? Snappies. The little gang he was in was called Lil Snappies. Okay, continuing on. Look at this guy go. And then off there goes the other guy. As if he's just playing basketball. Like, okay, going back in. Not dressed like someone playing basketball. Wow. I just can't believe it. Like, let's see how long it takes. Okay, are we ready? Because it could be a few seconds that the person didn't look, right? So let me put my little stopwatch on. Hold on. We're going to get to it. Where's it? So many things on my phone. Find it. Stopwatch. Here we go. Okay. So, okay, he's in the area. Now ready? 1, 2, 3. That was 11 seconds. 11 seconds that someone didn't look. So it's like I'm here now, and I'm like, Fury, cute. Okay, cool, yeah. Yes, I want some... okay, wait, what? That's how quick it is. 11 seconds. Oh my goodness. We can do it one more time. Huh? Sure. So I guess people could look away. They really shouldn't, but 11 seconds. Wow. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to do it from now, from when he gets to that area. 3, 2, 1. Because obviously no one's watching when he's there. That was total 13 till he's out of view. 11 to 13 seconds. So damn quick. But he obviously had to first walk in there as well. And don't they know from May? The other guy escaped exactly there, doing exactly that. That was in May. Come on, man. Yeah, Phantom said, you could sneeze and he's gone. Yeah, and D says, that's pretty darn agile. It is, right? Probably practice that. Probably practicing in his cell or something. Gotta be quite... I don't think... Can we just do that? Can anyone here... Do you think we could just do it? I don't know about that. You gotta be pretty strong. Pretty agile, right? Okay. So... I think that's about it for today. Let me just quickly... Because, you know, sometimes... I don't know about you, but the information can become overwhelming. There's a lot. There's a lot. And I think we've discussed a lot today. So, what I'm going to do quickly is just go hashtag Danelo Cavalcante on Twitter and just see if there's anything new. Let's quickly do it together. Sorry about that. And then we'll call it a day for now. As I said, I'm not going to be live all day, every day, all night, all the time. I won't survive it either. I'm not trying to be in the state that little Snappy's in. He can stay awake all day, all night in that emergency. I will be back when there's news though, always. If they catch him, remember, we're not going to see anything either. Right? So remember that as well. We might see exactly what we've been seeing. Roadblocks, cop cars, they're armed, night vision goggles. Maybe we'll hear, maybe, I don't know. Hope they get him alive and just put him in LWAP. That'd be so amazing. But anyway, if we might hear gunshots and then that's it. We're not going to see it. Well, there'll be another press conference and then they're going to say, okay, we've caught him and this is what happened and all of that. Drive-by shouting. Welcome to Grizzly supporter. So, Evan said, maybe that's something that needs to be addressed. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's still like flights coming in. Okay, cool. And, yep, they've got the escape. Everyone's sharing the escape. Very nice. Thank you. Hey, Joseph. The Brandywine Creek is his escape route as I predicted 5 days ago. Joseph A. Boss. I know. I shared your tweet. I screenshotted it. Okay, so we're just looking here. There was something about the gas station. Wait. Apparently the police were stationed at this gas station near that Longwood Gardens area. And they affected the guy's business for 5 days. And they're not refunding him or anything. So if you're in the area and you want to go support that gas station, that would be great. Nick T, and I don't know how to say his surname. He's Greek. He shared it, so I'm trying to find that. Yeah, Abela says, I kept wondering what snap peas were. Everyone thinks I'm saying snappies like that, but it's snap peas. Yeah, that's his gang name now. Lol Snappy. Exactly. So here we go. I just spoke with the owner of Carco gas station, the previous command center for the Danelo Cavalcante manhunt. He confirmed that authorities occupied his small business for 5 days, but have not offered any reimbursement for the financial losses incurred. Despite the hardship, I mean, that sucks. Despite the hardship, the owner emphasized that he's more concerned with the community's safety than receiving any compensation, a true testament to the spirit of the people in this area during challenging times. If you're local, consider utilizing this gas station for a little to help him recoup some of the loss. Not at his request, just a good gesture to help a local business owner. Kato said there's something tucked into the back of his shirt near his waistline. Well, let's all, after this, go watch it 1,000,000 times and see what we see. What do you think? I still just want to show you one more thing, which is on the map here. Because I want to look at... Somebody said where he's originally from. Just wait, which was... Where's that email? It was from Mary. Didn't know he lived in King of Prussia. Thought he was from Schuylkill Township. So where's that? And also his sister is in the Phoenixville area. Phoenixville. Oh. Okay. So why do they think he's heading south? If his sister is from that area. So when they've got family and associates in the area, yeah, his sister lives in Phoenixville. So, and last time that he went off to Virginia, she told the police, don't worry, he'll turn himself in, but he never did. So remember he called his mom and sister, do you remember? Phantom said, well, I'm not betting on which day, lol, but I prayed soon. Right? We've got to make sure we look after our physical and mental health too, okay? Because these cases can be like, it can become so obsessive. Okay, and I understand the hype and the oh my word, but just make sure you look after yourself, your physical and mental health, and also your family, okay? Don't get lost now. Hopefully they will catch him. Okay, so we've got this. Phoenixville. And where's this King of Prussia area? I don't know what the... King of what? Prussia? Pennsylvania. Oh. That's also up there. Ah. So he's from the King of Prussia area. Sister in Phoenixville. Nah, don't tell me why they think he's heading south. To me, the fact that he was going like this all around here and then south, and now he's gone eastward and he's starting to head north, he's going up north then. Everybody in Phoenixville and King of Prussia, keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. When somebody like him is weakening, maybe, from what we know, he's getting tired, he might be like, I'm going to my family. Okay, Dinah77, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Hope and Fear says, yes, G, you have to breathe. You mean that I don't have to like jump as soon as someone emails and says, wake up, Gisela, jump, hop on alive. Is it? I don't have to do that. I thought when people say jump, I have to jump. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that around here. We're going to be here when we can. And just know I'm lurking. I'm seeing all you guys in all the other chats. I'm seeing you there on Twitter or X. I'm seeing you all over the place. I'm watching too. I'm just a lurker. I told you, I'm a professional lurker. So interesting that the family's there. If you forgot about it, you might want to check out some of the other coverage that I've done. We did a deep dive on day one of me starting to cover this case. That was on Sunday. I'll just go from here. I remember where it was. This is Deborah Brandoa. And so you'll see that Grizzly Cat on Twitter and we were tweeting things all the time of her pictures to keep reminding everyone there's a murder victim here. And her family and her kids absolutely deserve justice. This is not justice. Sentencing to life without parole and then off he runs into the woods. No, they need to catch this guy. Terrible, terrible injustice. Wow, that he just escaped like that. Okay, so I just want to see, it's one more slide, I think. There, after the stabbing, Cavalcante's lawyer said he called his mother and sister to confess to the killing, before he reportedly gathered two of his friends, Francisco Lima and Michael Scarhill. So that's what we have. He called his mother and sister first. He was arrested in Virginia. A state trooper received notice that Cavalcante was a fugitive and was also wanted for murder in Brazil, where he's from. Why did they not just deport him as well? You know? I hope if they catch him now, they deport his ass back there. Let Brazil deal with that. Arrest for murder, or what do you think? Okay? And so, police believed that his ultimate goal was to go to Mexico and then to Brazil. I wonder about that, though. Why would he go there if there's an arrest warrant, for murder? Unless it's because he's going to be part of the gang again. So maybe he's like, I'm going south to go find my gang. Whoop, going north now to find my sister. I don't know. And who else does he know in those areas where he's from? King of Prussia and Phoenixville? Who else does he know that? Who are these associates? And does he have a phone? And is there contraband? How set up is he really? We shall see. Now it's going along the creek apparently. So please do keep your eyes and ears wide open, especially, of course, if you're in the area. Please keep sharing. Keep sharing the flyer. Now there's a $20,000 reward. All the details of the tip line and everything is in the description box. Okay? So keep sharing that as well. Yeah. And according to that video, let's go watch it again. If you are on... I just keep calling it Twitter because it's still twitter.com, okay? If you're on Twitter, let's go watch it many times and see what we see and comment on it there, okay? So... Prussia. The pronunciation. Police have rolled in. Prussia. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to make sure, as always, you know me, madam. What am I going to do now? Timestamps. Which means that you don't ever have to watch a live stream. If it's 7 hours, if it's 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is, okay? There's always timestamps so that you can navigate to the exact parts that you want to rewatch. So I'll put in timestamps so you can rewatch the video we just watched a few times over as well. The maps, everything we went over, okay? And I'm going to link all the articles that I told you I'm going to link in the description box. When I say end live, my work really also continues. I can't say it begins because it began early this morning, but it just continues. I'll do that for you so that you can navigate easily, okay? So thank you so much all for being here. Timestamp, yeah. Peniel's like, timestamps. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and re-look at all the stickers that you guys sent as well, because I may have missed one or two. I'm so sorry about that. I'm only human. I have to remind people, because I think people think I'm literally like an AI clone or something. I don't know. Like I'm not human. I'm human, okay? Sometimes I miss things. Thank you so much for the stickers. Thanks for all the members that joined. We'll have another member stream again soon. At the moment, it's just like I think all of our energy is just maxed out over here, right? With this, what we're doing now. So I'll do that. Thank you so much. Mods, patrons, on Patreon, I put a nice little video there for you today with aircraft models and gift shops and a rainy airport and all of that. So go check it out. Thank you, members, everybody. Really appreciate it. And I will see you back when there's news, okay? Not if there's a maybe, or a roadblock to look at for 9 hours. When we got news. Okay? Oh, thank you. Peter Pronzo says, rest, G. Okay. I'll try to. Okay, thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.